Hi, everyone. Kate Byers here to talk about purpose today. Super excited to be broadcasting. Again, my name is Kathleen Byers. I'm the founder of Corporate Women Unleashed, where we help executive women, women leaders really learn how to lean into your career without knocking yourself off balance, right? How do you control your career so you can prioritize your life and enjoy the success you're working so hard for to begin with? And the topic of today's broadcast is purpose. This is something that we hear more and more from women who are mid-30s, 40s, 50s. As we progress in our career in the beginning, what are we all doing? Just trying to make a living, trying to support ourselves, no longer live on mom and dad's couch after college, right? But at some point, we have to step out and really look around and say, am I doing something that matters? What's my purpose? And there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about today. So first of all, you guys know that we always talk about the science of human behavior. So purpose, and knowing what your purpose is, knowing that your life matters, that you're going to leave a footprint in the world, is tremendously important to our psychology and our biology. Okay. So we cannot thrive and live happy lives if we don't feel like our life has meaning. Okay. The only way we've gotten to this point in our evolution is that we felt like our life mattered, that, each of us contributed towards the greater good. Now, sometimes in society, we get carried away with that, and we think purpose has to do with some sort of charitable type of cause, or doing something to change the world in some big, huge way. Purpose, when it comes to you feeling like you're thriving, simply means that you are meeting your needs in the most effective way possible, and you are helping someone else meet their needs in the most effective way possible. Okay, so we are rationally self-interested. Okay, I didn't say selfish, I said rationally self-interested, which means rationally, as a human, I know that if I'm meeting my needs and part of my needs is purpose to help you meet your needs, I'm going to be ecstatic. But a lot of times we mess this up because we try to force ourselves to do like good works, but it doesn't really meet our need, and then we beat ourselves up for not doing that. For example, one of the ways I was going to meet my need for purpose about a year ago is I decided I was going to go sit with an elderly neighbor once a month on a Sunday. And I started doing that. And I took my boys a few times, and that didn't really work because they're like messing around in grandma's house and she's all agitated. And, I'm like trying to like watch them. And I was like, okay, that's a nightmare. So then I thought, well, now I'm going to go on my own. But then I felt like, well, now here's more time away from my family, which I don't want to have. So that kind of didn't meet my need. It's like, ugh. I was like, well, let me just try it. And so I did it a few times. And every time I was talking with her, she was negative. I mean, it was just like this old lady, like gripe fest. And I was like, okay, gosh. And I'd be like, and I had this vision of like, I was just going to sit with this wonderful grandma. She's going to tell me stories about like history and her life. And we were going to talk about girl stuff. I don't know. And it just wasn't that way. It was just like, I was like, wow. And so when the Sunday would come up for me to go the following month, I found myself like being busy or having something else to do. And all of a sudden I didn't want to go. And then I felt guilty that I didn't go. And then I'd run into her at the grocery store and So that's an example of where it didn't work. It wasn't meeting my needs. Sorry, it wasn't. I need to either take my kids and they can play at grandma's house, and I need to talk about things that are positive and interesting and fascinating. I can't sit around and gripe about the neighbors and gossip. I mean, that's just not me. So sadly, I ended that action that I was taking to meet my purpose. Now, don't worry, I'm getting to career purpose in just a second, but I want you guys just to understand how purpose works. So purpose, when it comes to your human behavior, just means that you are meeting your needs effectively. You're helping others. You have purpose as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as an employee, as a sister, etc., aunt. Okay, so am I showing up as the mother I want to be? That's part of my purpose. Now, there's another piece to purpose that I want to talk about, which is more similar to Simon Sinek's why, which is how do you see the world? What is your lens? And this is where I want to really tie into work. A couple things. When you understand your lens of the world, how you see the world, it's very, very easy and simple to see if you are aligned with a company that sees the world the same way you do, with a boss who sees the world the same way you do, with a team that sees the world the same way you do, or if you're truly like a round peg trying to fit in a square hole. Now, here's an example from my past. Before I understood my purpose, and a lot of times, guys, because I should say this is your lens, we're naturally attracted to people who have similar interests and thoughts. What can get in the way is when we feel like, ooh, I should take that job because it'll look great on my resume. It'll be a great paycheck. It's got a great title. And that's what kind of pulls us away from our natural instinct to move towards people and situations that are designed more like us. Okay, so keep that in mind. And that, of course, is our fear-based mindset that I always talk about. But so anyway, so you're doing some of this naturally anyway. So understand that. And years and years ago, I wanted to move from the ad agency world to client side marketing. Okay, I want to go work on the marketing client side. And I ran into a girl and she told me about this fantastic job. And I really wanted to work in international. I always wanted to be an international executive. And she's like, oh, we've got this job opening for a manager in international in this specific region and you should apply for it, blah, blah. So I did. Long story short, I got this amazing job, dream come true. And what was really amazing, I didn't know enough to figure this out, but one of the things that was so attractive is, first of all, it was international. So not only was I getting to go client side, but I got to go fly all over the world, which was just super cool and different and unique. And most people don't do that, right? Especially 20 years ago. Second of all, there was only 3 or 4 of us in the department. And then across all of international, there was like 12. I mean, that was it. So we were like this little maverick group of people in the US who got to fly all over the world and help all these international subsidiaries and support them. It was amazing. Love my job, love my bosses, had my share of ups and downs and all these sorts of things, but just every day I went to work and I said, I love my job. So lucky. Long story short, 5, 6, 7 years into this career, the company changed and went global. We no longer had international, okay? Now we collapse and we're global, which means now I'm working more domestically. We have a lot of domestic layers that you have to go through to get approval to go do stuff. We couldn't just like fly all over the world and make things happen. It was, you got to talk to this person and talk to this person and get this team on board. And I was like dying. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't understand why we're doing this. This doesn't make sense. We're not making progress. We can't get to where we want to be. So here's the thing that I didn't understand about myself. My purpose, once I discovered this, is really, I've always had a lens my entire life of being a trailblazer. I am just someone who sees alternate solutions to big problems and small problems. Now, it doesn't mean I don't ever go along with what everyone's doing. I do, if that makes sense. But in other words, I'm not afraid to step off the beaten path. In fact, I prefer to step off the beaten path because I just see these alternate solutions. And so when I was working with this small group of merry mavericks traveling all over the world, I was in my purpose. I was living according to how I saw the world. We got to do things quickly. There was a lot of autonomy. We had freedom. We could make decisions that were unfettered. We could just get to the results by trying all sorts of really cool things that were unique and different and not the company way. The minute I was asked to work in this other arena, same company, same group of people, some different group of people, but nothing had really changed other than now we're global instead of international. I just was dying. I was so unhappy. I kept bumping my head in these meetings with people going, I don't understand like them. They didn't understand me. And obviously it was creating a lot of friction and a lot of tension. The company wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I was just in the wrong, with people who didn't share the same values as I did. They liked structure. They liked history. They liked where we'd been. It was all about following this established way they had. They loved that structure and it was very comforting to them. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a brilliant way to work. They were making strides too. It was just different than my purpose, which is to blaze trails. So when that company needed trailblazer, myself and those other 12 people, we were the perfect fit at the perfect time for this company. The minute the company collapsed into global and now all of a sudden we had to report into these layers, it was just it was agonizing for them. They were all scratching their heads and going, wow, these people were superstars. What happened to them? We can't stand to have them in the room. And we were scratching our heads going, what is this environment you're asking us to work in? And we didn't see it, okay? So knowing your purpose, knowing your lens, how you see the world has tremendous impact on your work-life balance, on your joy, on being able to thrive in your career. Does that make sense? Because when you are working with people who see the world you do, the way you do, and when I was first international, we made decisions like that. I was able to get to answers much quicker. I was able to spitball, throw stuff on the wall. I could pick up the phone and talk to whoever I wanted to. It was flow. It was easy. It was simple. I just got to do what I needed to do. And there was no stress around it. right? Now you move me into this other environment, which is not my lens of the world, which is not me working on purpose. And what am I doing? I'm struggling, I'm stressing, I'm trying to figuring out these people, I'm failing in meetings, I'm not getting my point across. I feel like I can no longer speak right. I mean, it's just like constantly tripping myself up. It was so stressful. I was so unhappy. And then of course what happens is we go home and we kick the dog, we yell at our kids, you know, we're not showing up in our personal life. I was exhausted. I was eating because I was so stressed out. I was no longer working out. I no longer had my glow. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't even surviving. I was failing. And so this is why it's so very important, ladies, to understand your purpose. What is your lens? How do you see the world? And it's not, again, purpose is not, I was put on this earth to prevent global warming. Okay, that's fine. If that's what you really find joy in is global warming, that's not your purpose. It's how you would prevent global warming or solve the global warming dilemma is your purpose. It's your lens. It's how you would do that. Because some people are going to solve global warming and this big, huge, hairy issue we have through scientific process, through asking questions, through lots of structure, because their purpose is to be inquisitive. And they believe that by asking better questions, we can solve problems better, right? Other people are going to say, no, we need to solve global warming by jumping in, taking action, trying things, spitballing, the more the maverick, trailblazing type of a thing. Other people are going to solve global warming by, no, we need to amass a community together, because if we can unite as a community, and their purpose, their lens of the world is all about like community and people and working together as a team. Do you see how I just gave you three very distinct types of lenses? So if you're a really community-based person and you're like, it's all about people and rallying the troops, and you're over here working for a company that's all about scientific process and asking better questions, and let's just sit around and think about this for a minute, you're going to go insane. Like, that is not going to feel good to you in any way, shape, or form, right? So understanding your lens of the world is critical. And it's one of the really top things we do when we work with our clients is to help them understand, how are you wired? If you understand how you're wired, you understand your psychology, you understand the way you view the world, now we know if we're really aligned. So if I'm going for a job interview, if I'm talking with a new client, if I am considering just friendships in my life with people, I know my purpose. And if I'm sitting across the table from someone who I can tell is not going to feel comfortable with my trailblazing, maverick, let's just jump in and do it type of lens, it's going to be a much harder relationship to establish. It's going to be a much harder way for me to work. It's going to be a much harder way for me to have a friendship. It's going to be much harder. And I might second guess that. And I might say, or question that and say, I don't know if this is where I want to put my time and energy. I think this is going to use up way too much willpower, way too much time and energy to try to force this relationship, client relationship, career, whatever it is to work. I need to go over here and work with people who are into trailblazing, who believe what I believe, or at least some semblance of it. They're close to that, right? And so understanding your purpose is critical. Now, in the beginning of our broadcast, what I was talking about was that you also have this purpose in how you meet your needs, right? We were talking about like who you are as a woman, who you are as a woman, a mother, who you are as a spouse or a girlfriend or whatever, right? So the way these converge into helping your biology and psychology feel like you're thriving is when you're living according to your purpose, your lens, your Simon Sinek's why. That's all about autonomy. Okay, so that's how you're going to meet your need for autonomy. I get to live in a world where I'm free to be who I am and what I believe. Okay, and I happen to believe that the world is a better place if we all step off the beaten path and we blaze trails. That's my lens. Can't change it. I was born with it. That's the way I am. Okay. So that's going to help me meet my need for autonomy, and it's going to make me feel much more freedom, much more control over my environment, working with people that I love, surrounding myself with people that I love, putting up, some barriers or boundaries around those things that don't help me, or knowing before I go into situations with people who don't think that way, that I have to prepare differently for that. I have different intention. Now, when it comes to your biological and psychological need for purpose, meaning are you meeting your needs the most effective way possible? Are you helping others meet their needs? The reason this is important is that a lot of times, again, you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're like, what am I here for? I don't know. I just go to work and I come home and I mother, and there's like, what's it all for? You can actually start filling up your cup for purpose, by understanding what I just said, your lens, and making sure that you're aligned and authentic with that. But B, thinking of purpose again as just, are you meeting your needs in the most effective way possible? Are you helping others meet their needs in the most effective way possible? So are you showing up as the mother you want to be if you have children? Are you showing up as a woman in relationships that you want to be, whether you're dating or you're married or as a daughter of your parents? You can meet your need for purpose by having intention around your relationships. Are you meeting your need for purpose as whatever, a hands-on member of your community, if that's something that's really important to you at this phase in your life? Whatever it is, and you actually create some intention and some strategies around that, and then you test and see if that works for you, and if not, you try something different, just like the example I gave you. So that helps align you and make you feel like, okay, got it. Now I really understand. Now I really understand like what my purpose is. Now I really understand how it feels to live in purpose. Not only am I aligned with my autonomy, I am working and, living with people who are aligned with what I believe, but I am also helping meet my need for purpose by being someone who's an intentional meeting my needs and helping by being this person I want to be, which then of course helps my children meet their needs. If I'm showing up as whatever, a peaceful parent, as an unconditional parent, and that's the choice I've made to meet my need as a parent, my purpose as a parent, doesn't that help my children meet their needs at a higher level versus being a screaming, upset parent or whatever? Yes. If I'm showing up in my marriage to build a love story with my husband, instead of a wife who just shares a roof and pays the bills, am I not helping him meet his need at a higher level? Absolutely. So my point is that you will feel thriving. You will feel like you're not just surviving. You won't just be like, oh, what's my point? Now, obviously, ladies, we need to get beyond just marriage and parenting and career. A big issue for us as women is like, we feel like those are the three things we do, but who am I as a woman? I need to have other interests. I need to have hobbies. Those are all part of you meeting your needs. But guess what? When you have that hobby, when you put time into yourself, when you put self-care and your health into the mix as a priority, are you not going to come back and meet those other needs at a higher level? Your purpose as a woman, your purpose as a wife, your purpose as a mother? Absolutely. So this is why understanding human needs and understanding purpose, it's all interwoven to help you feel like, oh my God, I'm just thriving. Like life is so simple now. This is all, oh wait, you know what? Right now, I'm going to go meet my need for purpose as a parent. I'm going to go have lunch with my kids or whatever, because I really want to be hands-on with them and I haven't seen them as much as I want in a couple days. Great. Is that going to help them meet their needs? Yes, they get hands-on mommy time. I'm going to really listen and be intentional and connect with them and be positive. Wow, I just met my need for purpose as a parent, and I met my need for connection because I got to hang out with my kids. Okay. So I want you guys to really understand that defining your purpose and really digging that out and understanding what it is, it just makes life so much more effortless. You're going to be attracted to jobs, and you'll know if you're a right fit for the job you're at now once you understand your lens and the lens of the people around you. And two, when you start doing things in your life and understanding that some of the things you're already doing in your life are living in purpose, it helps you with this whole sense of, I'm not going out the soup kitchen in my community right now. I feel so bad about myself. You may not have time. If you've got 3 kids under the age of 6, this is probably not soup kitchen time in your life. Okay. It's okay. But you certainly can meet your needs for purpose as a mother. You certainly can meet your needs for community and how you participate maybe in some of their school activities. Maybe that's something you can do. And the soup kitchen is going to wait till everybody gets older. See what I mean? Okay. So guys, thank you for joining me on this broadcast. And we'll talk more about purpose soon because it is such a critical topic. And we see people just banging their heads against this over and over again and saying, why am I here? What's the whole point? And the point is, the whole point to your life is to balance your needs, meet your needs at the most effective way possible, and to understand your lens of the world. And when you are living authentically and congruently and aligned with that, life just becomes simple. Decisions become simple. This is no, this is yes. That's not my way of the world. Oh, this is yes. Oh, that's not my way of the world. I got to do it anyways, but I'm going to do it knowing that I'm going to have some extra challenge or willpower required for this situation. No problem. Do you see what I'm saying? You just have now we have a, what's the word? A keel or whatever, like a steering wheel to steer the ship instead of just, kind of fishtailing all over the place trying to figure out where we're going. So I hope this was helpful. It's fantastic. Thanks guys again for coming to the broadcast. Really appreciate you. showing up and being here. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to post those in the comments section below. I encourage you to share this broadcast. You can tag someone else or list someone else that you think would like to see it or share it to know that we can get this message out and help other women. And listen, ladies, seriously, if you are an achiever, if you're a woman who is feeling trapped by the gilded cage, or an executive, a woman leader who is living a diminished life, who is not living your best life and not able to enjoy your success, book a call with us, right? Let's talk. Let's see what's possible for you, because you don't have to do that. The corporate world does not have to eat you up. You can have tons of freedom, tons of control, and you can be living your very best life right now. And I want that for everyone. All right. Bye, guys. It was great speaking with you.